Hey everybody, it's Gray Miller. I am here to talk a little bit about papermancy, a little bit about ADHD, and so hopefully one of those falls into your interests. Nice to see you here on this channel. And I really wanted to basically say that I am on day 2 of one of the most terrifying things that can happen to somebody with ADHD, which is that I'm fortunate enough to work at a place that has kind of a summer slowdown. And so during a week before the 4th of July, they just say, hey, we're closing the offices. This doesn't count against PTO or anything like that. You have a paid week off, period. And when I first heard this, my first thought was, you know what I'm going to do? I'm trying to slow down life. I am not going to plan anything. Sounded like a great idea 2 months ago when I first thought of this. And I arrived on Sunday and I was like, wow, I don't know if I can handle this. Now, you gotta understand, I've never been one to take vacations. I took working vacations. I would go to a convention. I'd go to a place where I could do some work or do some research or something and call that a vacation. I wouldn't actually take time off, but I've been noticing that I've been having a lot of burnout lately, and I wanted to fix that. And it always helps when you have a partner who's also going through burnout, because I could look at her and say, hey, you know what? You're going through burnout and you're doing all these things still. You really need to stop. And she would sort of just look at me and I'd realize, oh, yeah, me too. I need to stop too. So I wasn't going to plan any huge things for this week off. But honestly, I realized on Monday morning, I was like, you know what? The problem is I have this fear. And the fear comes out of the Judeo-Christian work ethic, conditioning, hustle culture, scarcity thinking. And the fear was that I would reach the end of this week and I would still feel burned out because of all the things that I didn't do. And I would feel like I had wasted this precious resource, this precious week off. Now, here's the thing. There's so many lies that the scarcity thinking is telling me there. It's telling me the lie that I'm never going to have any more time off. It's telling me the lie that if I don't get these projects done now, they'll never get done. It's telling me the lie, this is the only time that I have to do it. Most of all, it's telling me the lie that if I don't spend this time working on projects and getting big things done, I'm going to be a bad person. I'm going to be someone who is not living up to my potential. Oh, such a wonderful thing. Raise your hand if you're a gifted child and told you had so much potential you could do anything you wanted. Ha, such fun. This is where the papermancy stuff comes in. That was all ADHD stuff. I know other people have that too. Again, ADHD doesn't have symptoms that are unique to ADHD. They have symptoms that are common to everybody, but more intense and more frequent. So, with the papermancy, I'm like, okay, so I'm going to go to my favorite coffee shop. I'm going to get some of my favorite coffee. I'm going to get my new book that my partner got me, and I'm going to open it up, and I'm going to figure this out on paper. And how do I do that? Well, I started by just writing down all the projects. Just brain dump, write a project everywhere. And I ended up with, a pretty extensive list. And then I started, doing things to the list. Like I would say, okay, let's put this symbol for scaffolding. I had an exclamation point for things that are a habit that I should do. I shouldn't stop the things that are good for me. I put a star next to things that were fun. And then I put a little shining comet going through the sky to signify big projects. And I had all kinds of things. I had things like do some more video content, fix my 3D printer, make more zines, upgrade my store with the zines I already have in stock, fix my front porch, which is needed stuff. That's obviously a project. I often go to Shut Up and Write groups during the week. I probably want to keep that. I've been thinking about trying out some gaming stuff that needs to happen. I've been working my way through the art of the fold, speaking of papermancy. So yeah, I've been doing a lot of different things. And as I did it, I realized a few things. First of all, you notice some of these are crossed out. Things that are crossed out are things that I realized I was doing because, or putting down because I thought I should do them. I'm like, okay, one thing I know about vacations is that you don't do things that you should do. Like you shouldn't do something just because you should do it. You should do the things that actually have some purpose, some innate motivation. Or I might have shoulds that were distracting from things that would actually get me further. For example, learning watercolor. Yes, someday I want to learn watercolor. I want to get renew my Skillshare. I want to go in and take all the watercolor courses because watercolor is weird and it kind of confuses me, but I love the look of it. I'd love to learn how to actually use it. But it's not something I have to do right now. It's not really a focus of things. It would be a distraction from things like bookbinding, like that kind of thing, because this is hard. I'm not good at this. If you look at this, look at the size of this end and that end, they're not even. I may end up having to take out all these stitches and do it all over again. That took me probably at least a total of like 25 minutes of my life wasted, but it's not wasted. I learned, right? So anyway, I had all these things written out here. I'm like, okay, that list is great, but now, and then I started thinking, maybe I put it in 4 columns and I think about what each one's going to be. And I thought, well, maybe instead I'll think about it on days. I'll make a day schedule and put one thing for each one. And honestly, the most useful part was I made a little Eisenhower matrix. And the Eisenhower matrix that I made had things like, basically on one column, it had the idea of things that take about an hour or a little more, versus things that pretty much take up the whole day, like the porch. The porch would take up the whole day. Learning to fixing my printer, that would probably take the whole day, because it might take only an hour, but then I get to play with it for the whole day. And also along the top, there are things that are joyful, things that just play, that are just the things I'm doing because I'm interested in them. I am never going to be a professional comic book reader, but I like reading comics. I can easily read comics for an hour or more. So, that counts as joy. And then I put things that were scaffolding. Okay, and I did that because, the things that I may not really want to do, but I'm doing them because I'm doing a favor for the me of the future. Okay, there are things that would help me in the future. Those are things like finishing off an ADHD coaching course that I'm working on to get certified, working on my podcast or video content, or doing certain things that I know annoy me when I don't have the time to address them, but that would actually work better. So yeah, and so I had that worked out, and I did have like the days along the bottom to try and work it out. And then you know what I did? I'm not going to do the extensive thing that I was going to say I was going to do, which is just to throw this book away, because that doesn't feel like a good thing to do to a book. But I decided at the end that what I really needed to do was I needed to give myself the grace to be able to finish the week and maybe not have accomplished anything. Maybe not have further on my course. Maybe not have the stairs fixed. Maybe not have any video content done. Maybe I did spend the whole time just reading comics. That's what a vacation is. That's when you're burned out. You need to stop putting the pressure on yourself, or so I'm told. So anyway, that's the alarm saying that my Sculpey sculpture. Oh, did I mention Sculpey sculpture was on there too? So I'm going to finish this video, but yeah, that was an interesting thing. And I'm just curious, do you have trouble taking a break, taking a vacation, justifying to yourself that you can actually do whatever the heck you want and it's okay? Because I'm understanding that that's a good thing, but it's kind of hard to work out. Anyway, you can read more about my stuff on ADHDOpen.space or papermancy.art. And yeah, thanks for watching.